Hello, everyone. Glad you're here once again. Today, just for fun, we'll take a look at David Lee Roth's 1988 album, Skyscraper. This one, a lot of people like it, some don't. But I remember when this thing came out, I kind of liked it, I guess, and now I find myself liking it a lot more than I did back in 1988. Because on the heels of Eat 'em and Smile, I was like, oh, it's a little bit disappointing, but I listen to it now and it's actually a lot better than I thought. And it's has on this one, Billy Sheen and Steve Vai are still there, Greg Bissonette, and then Matt Bissonette plays bass on, Knuckle Bones, and Greg's brother, he helps out on bass a little bit because I think Billy left shortly after this. And I'm not sure if he was there during the tour, but after this album, Steve Vai leaves, and that kind of original Dave solo band, his original effort there kind of dissipates and he gets other musicians and all that stuff. And we know the rest of the story for Dave, but anyways, this one here, it does have there's a lot more keyboards and stuff in it than his Eat 'em and Smile, and that's kind of standard for when this is coming out, 1988. I know some people might find it annoying, but that's just kind of the way it was. And a little side note, this guy that plays the keyboards on this, and he co-writes some songs, Brett Tuggle. A few years ago, I saw Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie when they went on tour together, and lo and behold, Brett Tuggle was the keyboard player. So when they said, here on keyboards, Brett Tuggle, I wanted to stand up and shout Skyscraper, but anyways, I held back and didn't do that. So we'll look at the album. Song kicks off with Knuckle Bones. Pretty cool rocker. The only thing is, if it was a little bit bigger sounding, I think this whole record, it is pretty polished, so it doesn't have that kind of crunch that people tend to like in rock records, but Knuckle Bones is all right. Maybe if it sounded a little bit bigger, it'd be better. Then you go to the hit tune, Just Like Paradise. Pretty poppy tune, keyboard heavy, but it's catchy. It was a big hit for Dave, and decent song. Maybe not my favorite on the record, but I understand that was the big tune from the record. The Bottom Line. This one I really like because it has an awesome drum intro by Greg Bissonette. It goes double bass all the way through. Kind of a hard rocker tune. So you could argue this album, the first, Just Like Paradise was, more of a pop tune, but Knuckle Bones, Bottom Line, hard rockers. Then you go to Skyscraper, I like Skyscraper. The song, it's kind of experimental, a little bit different, instead of just going straight rockers. I mean, it's like a rock song, but it definitely has a different vibe to it. Then another highlight of the record, Damn Good, which is really, I guess you would consider it a ballad, but it's not really a ballad. It's slower, but I don't know, it's definitely a lot better than a lot of other ballads that you might hear. And I don't know if it's true or not, but if you listen to the lyrics, I don't know if Dave is singing about his time in Van Halen here already. Like, he's not singing about a woman, but he's singing about just, hey, the early days of Van Halen. Who knows? Then Hot Dog and a Shake, another cool rocker. And this song, when I listen to the chorus, pre-chorus, and all that, really, you can really hear the Van Halen sound in it. And it's interesting when these guys do go solo and you hear their solo work, you can see how influential they were on their previous bands or the bands that they left, because you can hear that kind of like Van Halen sound of how the chorus, pre-chorus kind of goes. Then Stand Up is another song which annoys some people, very heavy keyboard, but I always kind of like this one. And when this album came out, one of my best friends was one of those guys back in the day when Van Halen and David Lee Roth split. Some people would just choose sides, and I was kind of with both. I liked them both, but he definitely went with Dave in the breakup, and even this song was like one of his favorites, even though it's more of a keyboard kind of dancey song. I just remember him playing this all the time. And Hina, another cool tune, a little bit slower, kind of mid-tempo, experimental, but definitely not something you're going to hear a lot of. The type of song you're not going to hear other rock bands of this era kind of attempting. And that's one of the things I appreciate about this album is that he's definitely trying some different things within the context of rock, and I think it definitely works for me. Perfect timing, another good up tempo tune, cool rocker, then Two Fools a Minute, which this one, the riff reminds me a little bit of Way Cool Jr. by Rat, and it has kind of a swing feel to it, and the horns kind of sound big bandy a little bit, but otherwise than that, it's a pretty cool tune. Compared to, Eat 'em and Smile, I don't think it's quite as good, but actually some people might like this actually more than that, but I definitely think it's a good record. I've grown to like it a lot more. I appreciate Dave's experimental nature, and as he goes on with the rest of his solo records, he definitely, he does rock, but he kind of does a little bit of everything, and you can see how that mixture when he's with or was with Van Halen, how that made those records sound so good, because you have the guys that, just want to rock, and then he kind of adds his spin to it and changes everything around, and I don't know, I just dig this record. Anyways, a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. If you've never heard it, you might want to check it out. It's pretty cool. Well, anyways, hopefully you're having a great day wherever you are. And thanks for sticking around for this video. We'll talk to you next time.